Hey guys, it's Adam and we're doing things a bit differently this time, and I'm going to review the Colin McRae Rally Legend Blu Ray that actually comes with Dirt Rally as part of the package, the Legend Edition I should say. I think it's a little tiny bit more expensive than the standard edition, but you do get this Blu-ray with it and you get a livery for a Mini Cooper I think, so yeah, for a couple of quid I think it's worth it. But anyway, let's get into the documentary. So yeah, you pop the Blu-ray in the player and this is the menu screen that you were greeted with, which just shows some highlights of McRae playing in the background, and then you've got the extras as well, which we will look at here. So as you can see here, not a mass amount of extra features, but you have got onboard footage from his Rally GB 2001, you've got Arctic Rally 1992 and Max Rally 2007, and there are clips of all of these events shown in the main documentary itself, but these are basically extended highlights if you like. So yeah, they're interesting, they're worth watching. There's a tribute section as well, but yeah, a bit light on the features, but like I say, they're worth having a look. And now moving on to the main event, that's the documentary itself. It runs about an hour and a half altogether, and yeah, I thought it was interesting, I enjoyed it. It's basically shot as sort of like an interview with a sort of talking head of Colin McRae here, which you can see, and yeah, they basically cover his entire career from right at the start when he first started out. He bought his first rally car himself, I think he said it cost about 800 quid, and yeah, basically worked his way up the ranks, and eventually, driving for Subaru in 1995, became world champion. And obviously he was well known not only for winning the world championship, but it was just his style that people fell in love with. He was one of the fastest guys out there, he pushed himself in every rally he was involved in. His motto, if you like, was if in doubt, flat out, and you can see that, you can see it in his driving. He, fans, or well, not fans, haters I guess, sometimes described him or called him Colin McRae, because he was always constantly pushing himself to the edge. He was involved in quite a few sort of high profile crashes. There was one crash which actually looked quite nasty, where he broke, I believe, his cheekbone and his eye socket, and yeah, the guy was just known for always being on the edge and always pushing himself harder than maybe he should have, I don't know. But watching the documentary, listening to the guy talk, it's fascinating, and like I say, watching some of his races, some of the driving he does, it's unreal. In the documentary they show a lot of the onboard footage, and I was sat there, I was watching it, and I was thinking, brake, 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 just brake. And you can, you know, but this is what sets these guys apart, you know, they haven't got that thing in their head, you know, they're like adrenaline junkies, and you can see them going through, you know, you can see McRae going through these, you know, like in Wales, going through these really tight tracks, you know, there's like, if you have even a little slight error, a hint of an error, you're just going to smash and you're going to roll and you're risking your life. But yeah, some of the racing that you see him do here is absolutely fascinating, and I think this documentary, even though it comes free with the Legend Edition, you know, it's absolutely worth watching, because some of that onboard footage is just, it's unreal. It really gets your heart pumping, it gets your adrenaline going, it really does. So yeah, the documentary covers his entire career, you know, past his rally career and up until later on when he did some X Games stuff as well, you know, they really do cover the whole thing. The documentary does focus mainly on his career. They do briefly mention the Colin McRae Rally Games, which obviously, you know, is what I was interested in as well. And, you know, I think they talk briefly about Colin McRae Dirt, the first Dirt game, because that came out in 2007, which is also the year this documentary was made, and was also the year, unfortunately, that Colin McRae died. So, yeah, they cover pretty much everything up until 2007. As I mentioned, he talks about the computer games, and he sounded like he was sort of quite proud of them, and he actually liked them. He states that, you know, he told Codemasters that he wanted the games to be as realistic as possible, and I think that was the reason why they were so popular, and also the reason why Dirt Rally itself is such an excellent game. You know, as I said in my review, I love it. I've given it my first 10 out of 10, and it's probably the most realistic rally game out of all of them, and I imagine it's a game that Colin himself would have been very very proud of and very happy to have played lots of hours with. You know, it's that good. It's a great game, and this documentary is fascinating. It's very interesting. So that's it, guys. I can't really say much more than that. I don't think I can sort of put a score on this. I'm used to doing games, and this is my first time reviewing something that isn't a game. So I'll just say, you know, if you're picking up the Legend Edition, it is worth watching. It's a nice Blu-ray to add to your collection. Like I said, some of the footage that you see on board of McRae, some of it's unreal. You know, it really does get your heart going. And you know, he was a great rally driver, and he was a great guy. And I recommend you do check it out. And yeah, I will catch you for the next game review that we do. I'm not sure what that's gonna be at the moment, but you will find out soon enough. So there we go, guys. Like the video, subscribe to us, and I will catch you next time.